call the Big Lake School Board meeting to order so that all board members are present. First, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion?
Motion made by Nelson. Second by Sixberry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kim, did we have anyone for open forum? Okay, we have nobody for open forum. We're going to move ahead to the consent agenda. The previous minutes from the November 19th regular board meeting, claims and accounts in the amount of $1,471,064.78. The credit card report, the personnel report, the fundraisers, the amended SRO contract, and the extended field trip request for girls basketball, wrestling, and robotics. Okay, motion made by Hancock. Second by Sixberry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to donations. I will make a, motion made by Brown. I'll second. Second by Reesner. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Financial report. Angie.
All right, good evening. We will start with enrollment update, and unfortunately, I don't have good news on enrollment. So you can see I gave you a little bit of history there, and also too, because we're in the middle of what's called our fall MARS submission, some of the numbers had been adjusted. So Annie, our MARS coordinator, had given me new reports, and so I provided you the revised numbers because they would be different than what you had seen in prior months. But you can see we had that increase from September and October. And what a lot of that increase is Big Lake Online, because some of the students don't start, they don't start right away. But then we've had decreases then from October to November and November to December. And so, and no trend, or it's just kind of across the board. We add some and we lose some. So I didn't really see a trend. And then, so just wanted to share with the board then that, so this is where we're at with our average ADM, or average daily membership. The average is 3,036. Our revised budgeted that I had done last month, 3,042. So we're still 6 short, but there's still a lot of the year left. I'm still hoping Big Lake Online that will, as we get more students, that should hopefully shrink that gap. So, but this is just a snapshot in time of where we're at. And you can see that graphically on the next page as I think that's orange or brown line is lower than the yellow line. And then you can see the trend for the 3 years. So, and as for the budget, no budget revisions. But I just did want to, and actually I'll have you go on to the next slide. I want to just remind the school board and the public of the district's unassigned fund balance goal. It's policy 714. And that fund balance goal is 9 to 12% of general fund, and the key word here is operating expenditures. It does not include expenditures in our committed, restricted, or assigned fund balances. And so when you calculate it off our current budget, our 25-26 budget, and you calculate that unassigned fund balance, it's actually 17.8%. And that's after, as you all know, we're deficit spending $2.1 million. So I just wanted to update the board on that number and where we're at, like as of today, as our budget as of today. And the last slide I have for the financial report is I had a board member ask about kind of to quantify the unfunded mandates, and we thought all board members would like to see this. And so I tried to quantify, like ones, I know we got together as a group and came up with, different unfunded mandates. I think the biggest one right now is that paid family medical leave. So that first line, that's the actual tax, or I call it the payroll tax. The district is responsible for 0.44%, and employees are responsible for the other 0.44%. We are anticipating a lot higher sub costs because we feel like more employees will be out. And so I think our assumption there was that like at least one extra sub in each building and then a floating sub or actually, no, I think we had two. I'm just looking at my notes. I think we had two. I'm looking at minute. Was it one? Okay. And and that number is really unknown at this point, but I mean, I think one thing we know for sure is those sub costs will increase. Also of cost to administer paid family medical leave. It is been very time consuming on, I would say, our human resources staff and payroll staff, probably more human resources staff right now. And then you've heard me talk about this one, the summer term unemployment. Now, we are getting funding right now, but we don't know for how long. I look at you, Ashley. I mean, summer, it fluctuates. Yeah, when it runs out. And it will run out. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so our annual costs are roughly $300,000. And again, which we've had funding, but for how long? And then the READ Act, and I try to quantify some of it, but there again, this is another one that administratively is taking a lot of time as well. But just with training and paraliteracy training, and again, a lot of administrative time, just scheduling and just making sure that everyone's getting the required training. I mean, I haven't even quantified that. But I put a yearly total cost, I mean, $817,000 just on these items too, or the items I have outlined there.
This was in response to your question last
Yes.
month. This is
Question
hopefully
for
what you're looking
the
for.
paid family medical leave. That's the new act that's coming up.
Starts January 1st.
So those are just those costs to implement this program.
It's been very, can I say labor intensive? And yeah, and then quantifying, because yeah, the tax goes into effect January 1st, so our January 5th payroll.
That would have to come out of our unassigned fund,
There's no funding for that.
which might make us different.
Do we have anything in place right now I figure we have tracking mechanisms in place so we can see comparisons of how much leave and how much time staff is taking versus before this act and then after this act? I'm curious to see how this impacts leave and
We are too.
subs and things like that.
I would say
too.
we are too. That's the big unknown right now. And I think we know of some already, am I right? Some employees that we know are planning? Yeah, that's something that's never, because they've already had their babies, but they can take a bonding leave, which is covered under the paid family medical leave.
And Angie, I don't know if you have the answer for this, but I saw something on Facebook, and we all know how credible that is. Can staff utilize the paid family medical leave outside of the school year? So if when school lets out, they can take it during summer?
Yes, I'm glad Sue is here. Yeah.
So they can do their bond, so they can have that bonding time and stuff during the summer, even though they're out of the school season.
But they wouldn't get, it would count against their unemployment though. It counts against their time for paid family medical leave. Right, but I mean, would they have to claim that too as income on unemployment, so it might reduce the burden on the employee side?
So for unemployment, the only ones eligible for the summer term unemployment are paraeducators and so teachers are not eligible for the summer term unemployment.
Yeah, so this would be a separate thing.
Yeah, no, I knew it was separate, but I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah, the state does the approval, the school district does not, it is out of our hands. And it's Department of Economic Development, DEED, is gonna be doing that? All right, and actually, that's all I have. So just need approval of the financial report.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. You are up again. Approve pay 2026
Yeah.
property tax levy certification.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, yes. So, okay, so you all were present here for the Truth and Taxation hearing. So the levy as it stands, as what is shown up there, you don't have to go through the whole thing, John, but this is exactly what was in the Truth and Taxation hearing in that PowerPoint. It's a 4.56% increase. It keeps the tax rate constant, like I talked about in the hearing. If you would want to go back to the preliminary levy, which was a 7.53% increase, you can do that, but it'll be a tax increase. So it really is up to the school board to decide whether you want to keep the levy as is, which is a total of, let me just make sure I got the right number here, $13,887,802.55. If you want to go back to what was in the preliminary levy, that amount was $14,283,324, excuse me, let me start over. $14,283,324.94. And that again was the 7.53% increase.
So in keeping with what the board has done about stable, what's in the packet right now basically keeps that tax rate stable.
Yeah.
And that's what was presented.
Right,
But
yeah,
preliminary was actually more, but we are recommending the stable, which is the lower of the
Right.
two, which is what's represented in the board
Right.
packet right now.
And we can still get what we need to do done.
right.
We can still get what we need to do done at
Well-
that lower level.
I mean, I would like to point out, just for the public, that we could levy more,
But we're not.
but we're choosing not to at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But we could levy more. We are trying to be very aware of our taxpayers.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side of that, we are deficit spending. So we are not, we're not necessarily in a position to turn down available funds either. So this is a thoughtful decision. And I just wanted to make sure that that was out there for the public, that we're not going for every penny we can, but that actually doesn't mean we don't need it. We're trying to be respectful of our taxpayers at this point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because we're not the city or the county that can just do what we want.
Right.
Yep.
It would help us though pay for all of these new unfunded mandates. So it should be held, in my opinion, shouldn't be too far from buried.
Put on posters. He said it should be too far buried.
It's just reality. I understand that it frustrates people. Mine went up a lot more than point. Oh, mine too. Yeah, I mean, we live near each other, so that's just, I'm not saying that. Just that we don't have the ability to pay without having to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they understand most times.
Does anyone have a motion?
Do you want me to give you that dollar amount again?
Yes.
Okay. It is 13,887,802.55. Because I actually need, I need that in the motion, the actual dollar amount.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, I motion to approve 13,000,000.
Oh, there, thank you.
87,000. Where'd it go?
$802. Okay. Motion made by Nelson. Second by Shabilian. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion carries. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you. So just an FYI, so I certify this with MDE. So I'm going to certify it right now. Usually I do this ahead of time, but
Yep.
being the board had options. I'm somehow going to find a printer and then, so someone needs to sign it tonight, so.
Okay, I can sign it.
So if you
tonight.
see me leave for a minute, that's what
Okay.
I'm doing.
Real quick, before you leave, Angie, I do have a question. With the elimination of the penny, does that impact what we're doing?
The penny.
elimination
Yeah.
of the penny.
I've heard about
Penny's
that.
been eliminated. I'm just curious,
Yeah,
does that
yeah.
drastically impact our books at all? Possibly in favor? Do we get like a variance where
No.
we can just round?
Yeah, can we round up,
5 cents.
right? Yeah, no,
I don't think it's gonna make that much difference.
All of our expenditures, we round down, all of our revenue, we round up.
Sure.
Just get
By
that.
5
We get
cents,
that.
yes.
Yeah, that'll add up a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. You never know.
Thank you for our little comic relief there. Now we get to TJ.
Yes. So I've got some good news for you.
Oh, that's
We
good.
had a exciting bid opening on Friday last week at 12 noon. We opened up bids from 5 bidders for the 2026 roofing projects. And I recommend that we approve going in with a contract with Granite City Roofing. They're one of the vendors that did the hail claim. They provided quite competitive, I mean, they blew everybody else out of the water, really. I mean, they're saving us about $440,000 versus kind of some of the other. No, we checked. They didn't miss anything.
TJ and I were like high-fiving and fist pumping.
We were in shock a little bit, but yeah,
That's good.
it came in below our budget amount. We still have some mechanical disconnect, reconnect that we have to include in those costs. But there is enough room within our budget of 2.4 million that we should be able to get a price request from them for a change order to do the last remaining, it's about 9,000 to 10,000 square feet here at the middle school that we didn't include in this round of roofing. And complete all roofing. So all roofing will be 100% complete,
That is
yeah.
big.
which is a huge deal.
Not for 30 years.
30 years.
30, yeah, it's the Tim and TJ retirement plan for the roofs.
They're
So-
not gonna talk about it again.
We're not gonna talk about roofs again, because they'll all be warranted, so they'll be covered under the manufacturer's warranty, they'll have multi-layers of protection. Yeah,
That's great to hear. No more buckets in the hallways.
correct, no buckets in the hallway, as a matter of fact, we are addressing, there were a couple of hallway leaks still from even previous roofing projects that we'll be addressing that with some additional paneling, as part of this to seal up those through-wall flashings that were leaking, so, those existing conditions.
Okay.
So yeah, great news.
That is
Roofing
good
will
news.
no longer be an agenda that the board will have to worry about in the
That's
future.
good.
So,
That's good to hear.
so I just need a motion.
Yeah.
We do. It's $1,952,000. They were the only one that did a combination bid, which also dropped their price just a little bit further. Not much, but we'll take any little bit that we can, so.
I can make a motion. Was it Granite City Roofing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay, so
Granite City
for
Roofing.
Granite City Roofing for $1,952,000. Do I need to state the project or for the
it's just the,
miscellaneous roofing repairs?
yep.
Mhm.
It's the 2026 building
Building
improvement.
envelope.
Building
Okay,
envelope.
2026 building envelope improvement.
Okay, motion made by Shabilian. Second by Brown. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, TJ. On to you. Joint powers.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, as we do on a yearly basis, it looks like January 15th, that Thursday at 6 PM in the City Council chambers is our annual Joint Powers meeting. And that is an opportunity for us to sit down with the county, the city, and the townships and share some information. They like a year-end summary, and we do like a mid-year because our fiscal year is off. But at that time, as we approach that, I will ask for a couple board members to be present. It's always, and not that you would have a real active part, but you may, if you could ask questions and things like that. So just an FYI, so that evening, I'll be presenting something, and we will have a plan as we approach that. So we'll talk more about that maybe on the 7th, and we'll firm something up then. So is that an action item? Yes. So I would request that you approve this.
I will make a motion to approve the joint powers meeting on Thursday, January 15th, 2026 at 6 PM in City Hall. That's okay. Second by Sixberry? Okay. Motion made by Reesner, second by Sixberry. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. School Board Committee Representative updates. Fine. Didn't meet. Policy? No. It's been quiet month. Building and Grounds? No. School Board Representatives.
So I did attend the SAF, Schools Advocating for Fair Funding, general meeting virtually. That was held on the 12th of December. One thing I just wanted to mention to the board here is there was a presentation on the economic forecast, the state budget and forecast. So there is technically a surplus of 2.465 billion in 26-27, and that is because there was 4.878 billion left over, which you'll notice doesn't quite add up. So they are spending more than they're taking in, and they're pulling off of reserves. And that leaves a projected short 28-29 of $2.96 billion, which is $1.8 billion worse than they projected last year. So in the state world, there is not much good news in terms of funding, which will definitely trickle down to us. The state budget and economic, let's see, what do they call themselves? The Minnesota Management and Budget Office, they kept referring to a growing structural imbalance. But anyway, I just wanted to make the board aware that the news from the state is not positive. And even though you may see it technically stated that there is a surplus for this year, it's not a real surplus, and the next year's deficit is worse than they had previously anticipated. And then just an update was given as well on the Blue Ribbon Commission for Special Education reductions. And I'm sure Minda's already heard this. Fortunately, it seems like ADSIS is going to probably be the big loser on that, which a lot of districts, including ours, utilize. So that Blue Ribbon Commission is not finding the savings that they really hoped to, and so that is something that will be affecting us as well. So, and then we are continuing, I believe I mentioned the legislative platform last board meeting, but yes, we just refocused, brief discussion on the legislative platform for implementing an equalization credit for some equalization reform.
Any other meetings?
I mean, I attended Right Tech, but it was pretty short and sweet. The main focus of it was that we have to replace the front end controls for heating the building, as they're really struggling with that. That was a focus.
Quick shout out to TJ. He's actually tomorrow gonna go visit Brian over at Right Tech and just kind of go through some of those things, because with TJ's experience, and they don't have a TJ over there. So TJ made some time to kind of go help out, because if they can serve better there, it all helps all of us. So quick shout out to TJ for helping out with
Thank you,
that. But
TJ.
Awesome,
Brian was
thank you,
very-
TJ.
Brian was very eager to have TJ come and visit him.
I'm sure. Nothing, no other ones?
Well, one other update, actually. I'm like, there was something I was gonna say. Actually, it was nice. So the Big Lake Pep Band went to a hockey game. It was Thursday or Friday. It was like the,
Kristen?
yeah, like super cold. It was like the coldest night last week for a normal Monday through Friday week, and they came. And I was like, wow,
That's great.
yeah. They drove all the way to Princeton on the bus and
That's awesome.
played some music.
That was great.
How about tonight?
That's good. Okay, on to your report, Alexis.
So to start off my report, I want to mention the Big Lake High School Choir, Jazz Band, and Wind Ensemble Holiday Concert.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool to see all the choirs and wind ensemble work together to perform. At least, I just always think it's really cool to just see like Miss Keister and Miss Hawkins like conduct together and like to see them like work together because I feel like so often like choir kids and band kids don't mix and then you go to this concert and it's like you see the same kids over and over and over again and they're in every choir and every band. So it was nice for those kids to kind of get a shout out for themselves and their commitment. Epic this Friday is holding their 3rd annual Cookies and Cocos for students after school. We're gonna have a hot chocolate bar this year. I'm so sad I have to miss it. But there's gonna be great toppings and cookies and a few games and like small giveaway prizes for students to get. And then we do it right in the cafeteria so kids can grab it before they get on the bus. So they can still get home on time, don't have to find a ride or anything like that. One act is underway. They've been practicing really hard every single day after school. And then this week, the winter food drive that student council does, which is also a hot chocolate fundraiser. This year, we had a lot more staff really wanting to get involved this year. I think this is our 2nd year doing it. I really enjoy help run it. I lead on this, so this is like my main thing to do before snow days. And we make a giant poster with marshmallows, and I'm happy to say our hot chocolate mug is empty, no more marshmallows left. So by Friday, I hope to have that many items. NHS did their holiday card like collection today, and those are gonna go out to like senior living homes. NHS students make sure that like I had to go through and like close them all, and they like decorate them and add like their own personal drawings and like talk about their own lives, which I find like is really impactful because it's not just like you're getting a card that just says Merry Christmas. Yeah, you're getting a card that's like, hi, this is me, I love band, and hopefully I get to see you at my next concert, and like personal invites like that. And then YUIS did their candygrams this week. They helped pass them out this morning. There were around 80 students bought $1 like cards they can write to their friends with a candy cane, and then they get it their first hour, and then all that money goes back to their courtyard project at the middle school that they've been working on for a while now. And then pep band's coming back to hockey, just so you know. For a girls game, and hockey pep bands are our pep band's favorite. We asked to go to them, and they say the concessions at hockey are great. Pep band loves
It actually does have like really good food.
No, they talk about the pretzels and the pickles, and
Oh, that's awesome.
they come.
They
right-
do have good food at hockey.
Well, if we always perform at Big Lake, so it's not like we go anywhere else other than like
Yeah,
we
because
did get
our
to go to
home
state.
rink for
Is
like
Princeton.
Rickenbacker.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
it's a little bit of a field trip. We don't really perform as much if you're not in like jazz band or wind ensemble. So you get to like get out, see new people, be at the Princeton rink, hang out with your friends, eat some good food. I'm pretty sure we begged Miss Keister on our hands and knees to get more than one hockey.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I was very excited about the hockey pep band, because it's also like a chance to like hang out with your band friends that are like, it's kind of outside of band, but it's not. But pep band is more of like a hanging out activity than it is like serious, like playing concert blast, you know?
Pep band is fun. I did that in high school.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Okay, superintendent report. You always get to follow that.
I know, all right. Madam Chair, members of the board, I have just a couple items here. Just a quick update on negotiations. We did meet with BLEM last week. We appear to be at an impasse, so they have requested to go to mediation. So I have not heard, I know that they filed, so we don't know when that will be. If I were to guess, my guess would probably be early February, I'm hoping, just because they are scheduled out. But we'll keep you posted as soon as we have a date. And obviously, we're gonna talk about some things during the closed session tonight. Just want to remind the board that on January 7th is our scheduled organizational meeting. Action-packed this year. Well, every meeting we have is action-packed. But we will be obviously organizing ourselves as a board, determining meeting dates, officers, so on and so forth, and committees and all of that information. But since we're together, I like to kind of stack meetings anyway. So we'll follow up with the work session following, and we've got a variety of different topics to talk about. But most importantly, I want to talk about that we're going to start our budgeting process. It's going to be kind of a kickoff meeting. So I had a couple board members reach out to talk about budgeting. Obviously, we saw some forecasts here that don't look necessarily positive, so we want to be in front of that as much as possible. And we are working behind the scenes to make sure we have all the information that we can by that meeting, and it will be a series of conversations. It's not going to be the deciding night, but it'll be a series of conversations. So stay tuned on that. We'll have more information for you then. Last but absolutely not least, I want to acknowledge a few things from around the district. And Alexis, I was going to mention the music, and they did awesome. You're right, I was able to go to some of those concerts. I actually sent a nice message to both directors, and I even told them what my favorite songs were. So they're really cool, really cool. I took some pictures and things too, so it was really neat to see at those concerts. But I also want to add one that I didn't have originally. Last week we had an early out, and we had a late start. And I want to acknowledge, some of the leadership as well as the, obviously the students and whatnot did great on those days. But whether you're an administrator or teachers having to kind of punt a little bit on some of those things and remain flexible, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing. And I know John is here, and I know the principals, we created some kind of interesting, like for example, Jonna's last lunch became her first lunch to ensure that we could get kids fed before we got them home. People don't know the behind the scenes kind of thing. So I know I appreciate that. So I want to just acknowledge not only administration, but also those bus drivers. I mean, they're actually going out into this stuff. So it's an important piece to acknowledge that as well. So, and last but not least, I also want to thank our parents, because I know that is a disruption to the day, but I also know that we do the best we can to keep our kids safe. And for example, I'm currently watching Tomorrow. So, and it's stressing me out because it's going to rain or something. I don't know what it's going to do. Sleet or something. So I think we'll be okay in the morning, Alexis. So don't start spreading rumors yet. But, oh, so we want to be on time for that. Yeah. So yeah, but we'll see. Of course, I'm monitoring this, and I'm meeting early and silly hours, and Stephanie is ready for communication and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to acknowledge some of those things, because those are not easy days and easy decisions to make. So.
Well, and you visit with the other superintendents.
Oh,
and
yes.
you have special weather.
Yep, and then I meet with the
meetings.
National Weather Service. They have a group together, and I'm part of that as well. And I sit on webinars as well as other area superintendents. And there's a whole lot. My phone just kind of blows up in the middle of the night on those nights, because there's superintendents. They've all got people kind of tracking and going around and doing things. So
Get out and like drive and like.
some
test
do,
roads and
some
stuff.
do.
It's
yes.
just not you just decided.
No, it's not like I think we'll call it. No, it's not like that. It's pretty well looked into.
Photos on the dash.
Yeah, yeah.
If you go cruising at 75 miles an hour in a Sprinter van and you don't wind up on your side, you're good.
There you go. Yeah. Well, there was a moment, I'll be honest with you, with the early out, where I looked out the window and I said to Kim, it better start snowing soon, or I'm gonna look pretty silly. And right? I said,
It was a good call.
Where's the snow? Because I just made a big deal. We all went through the trouble of rescheduling.
Because I did not have an early out.
I
and
know.
I did not know where the road was when I was
Well,
running home,
and-
It
so.
has happened though, where like
Oh, yeah.
they canceled school.
And it's
or
like Bluebird Day.
nothing happened.
Oh, I know. Well, it came quick, and it was a good call. It was a good call in the end. But like I said, we do the best we can to try to keep kids safe. So, yeah, that's an important piece. Enough about that. Okay, calendar. Just a couple items here. Really, the biggest thing is that there is no school from December 20th through January 4th. So I know I sent a message to you all. If you need to contact somebody in the district office, it'll be kind of hit or miss. If you need to talk to somebody, I would suggest you just either call or send an email. And then also a reminder, organizational meeting on January 7th at 6:30. MSBA annual conference is January 15th and 16th. So if you're interested, obviously let Kim know. I know there's a couple that usually attend, and I know I'm planning on going, and I think Minda's planning on attending this year as well. So I think we'll have be well attended there. It's a good conference. I would suggest if you haven't had the opportunity to attend, you absolutely welcome to attend. And then obviously, January 15th, we just approved that joint meeting with the city, county, and townships at 6 PM in the city council chambers. That concludes my report, unless, of course, there are questions.
Any questions? Okay. Where's my microphone on? The board will have a closed meeting as permitted by Minnesota statute section 13D.03 to discuss the Big Lake Schools labor negotiation strategies. I need a motion to enter a closed meeting, follow the adjournment of the regular meeting. Motion made by Nelson. Second by Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. The closed meeting will commence in 5 minutes at 7:25 in the Middle School Students Center.